Hello, today I've got 3 pencils here and I'm just going to take a look at them and show you kind of what my thoughts are on them. I've got the Tombow Monograph Light, I have the Delguard Type LX from Zebra, and I have the Pentel 120A3DX. So first off, the packaging here, I think the monograph probably has the nicest. It's in this great little box here, show you the whole thing. Delguard's just like a kind of clamshell thing, but still shows the pencil off pretty nicely. And then the Pentel here is just in this paper container. I think these get sold to like schools and offices a lot, so they're just kind of in there. Look at those unpackaged real quick. So there's just a quick size comparison. So first off, the Tombow, 18 grams, the Pentel, 7 grams, and the Zebra is 19. Give you a good idea of the weight. So after writing with the Tombow for a couple minutes, here are my initial thoughts. The grip on this it's a little rubberized, which is nice, but it's not super comfortable. It's just kind of hard. It's not too different from like a tube of plastic. There's a little bit of a notch here, but not really any like knurling or anything that you might see in more of like a technical pencil. The pointy end, you have to hold it pretty far from the end of the pencil, just because my fingers at least, they would slip off this end point here. The actual writing experience, as far as like the paper feel, there's nothing weird about it or anything. It seems pretty normal. As far as erasing goes, there is this eraser is a twist-up eraser. So you spin it around to make it go further up and then bring it down. The neat thing about this pencil is it also has a locking feature. So when you tip it over, it makes it so that it won't advance the lead when you erase with the pencil, which is convenient, I guess. The problem is this pencil eraser is just like so tiny that it almost doesn't make sense to like crank it all the way out just to erase something. It's nice to have. It's good to have there. But I think typically I'd just be using a normal like external pencil eraser if I have one around. I do like how this pencil looks. It looks pretty cool. And the width of the pencil is pretty good. The lead advance feels decent, no issues with that. One issue with the locking is that when you have the pencil horizontal, sometimes the lock will engage and then you have an issue where you can't advance the lead. So it really has to be vertical, like you're writing with it, and you can't shake it around or anything, or else you'll have issues. They do give you a pretty good length of eraser on this pencil, so it's not like you're gonna run out really quick. So to refill this pencil, you have to pull the eraser entirely out of the back, and then you can just put the lead in the back that way. Okay, my next pencil here is the Zebra Delguard. This one has a kind of neat trick. The tip is hinged a little bit, so when you write, it'll shift out of place slightly if you put too much force on it. And it can also push into the body of the pencil a little bit if when you're writing you push too hard. I didn't find this too annoying. I was worried it would be a little bit too wobbly when you're writing, but it's actually not too bad. I did still manage to break the lead though, so it's not quite enough to prevent if you push the lead way too far out, then it'll still snap off, like it won't save you. But if you're just writing normally, It seems to write pretty typically like a normal pencil. Maybe if you're especially sensitive to it wobbling around a little bit, you might notice. I mean, I could definitely like see that it was flexing, so that's a potential issue. As far as the balance goes, I found it a little bit far back while I'm writing. The pencil is not that heavy considering, so I didn't find it to be that big of an issue. But I would say this is not in an ideal position. I'd rather it be a little further forward. If they could use some heavier parts in the front part of the pencil. Since this is just a plastic pencil, it's easy for this stuff at the rear end to kind of throw that off. As far as the eraser, they give you a pretty tiny little eraser here. And this is also how you refill the pencil, through this hole in the back here, which is pretty easy to get to. I would say this eraser is whatever. It's better than nothing, but not necessarily an amazing one. Because of the way it's seated in there, it doesn't seem like it'll get pushed back into the pencil very easily. So that's pretty good. Don't know why they made the clicker wide like this, but it's fine. Not a big deal. Finally here we have the Pentel. This is probably the one that I've had the most experience using since I used it for a lot of high school. This pencil is definitely very lightweight since it's entirely plastic construction. I really like the grip on the front. It is pretty intensely knobby. So I don't always go for that, and it's not necessarily nice on the fingers per se, but it allows you to grip it pretty close to the front or further back if you want. Also, since the pencil is pretty short, the balance feels good because it's just never that far away from where you're holding it. I will say the eraser on this one, because of the design of this metal sleeve they have, it's really easy for that to get forced back into this plastic sleeve, since this is really easy to bend if you're using too much force while you're erasing. That's an issue that I've had a lot of times. The cap is nice, looks nice. It's kind of easy to lose, especially in your bag or something. And the clip is very fun to fiddle with, I will say. So this pencil, just since it's pretty high quality for how cheap it is, I really like it. It's not my go-to pencil today, but there's definitely a reason why it was my everyday main pencil for a long time. Oh, and you refill lead here through the back. Yeah. So those are 3 mechanical pencils I just received. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.